Alright, at this point I have had this knife sitting here on my desk for several months and tried to do a review on it a few times, and it just doesn't seem to come together. So I'm gonna try it again. So this is a Sitivien. This is the first one that I've got from them. It's the, what is it, the ST100? Yes, it is. And yes, it is an access lock or crossbar lock sort of thing going on there. Thumb stud deployment. We have a Stonewash D2 blade in this particular instance. And this thing is fairly thick behind the edge there, which, that helps it be a little bit more heavy duty, but just a little less slicey than, you would probably get on a lot of other things here. Something that does make this one a little bit different is that, it actually has micarta for the handle scales on this guy here. So, that's a little bit different. Something that Benchmade hasn't done a whole lot of. Not that they haven't, but, it's just not something that you generally see all that much. We can see, at least up here, around that pivot area on this particular side, it's getting a little fuzzy there and whatnot. Possibly I can toss some extra oil in there or just play around with it for a couple of days and have my fingers do the same sort of thing there, and that would work out all right. This thing is riding on bearings, so when you pull that back, it's nice and wheely. This is using steel bearings, not ceramic, so keep that in mind. That doesn't inherently make it inferior, but as I've mentioned before in the past, you do have that possibility of that higher carbon steel possibly rusting on you. This guy does have a very large and wide pocket clip that's deep carry there, and it does end up giving me that pain point around the pinky there, unfortunately. And it kind of looks like this would be a finger choil, but definitely not for me, especially because it's not concave on the other side there. That just doesn't really feel super good. But it does do a really good job of being a sharpening choil, though. So, hey, there is definitely that. It's got a standard drop point sort of thing, a high saber grind going on with it. But otherwise, this is just basically a cheaper little access lock here in D2. Something that Ganzo has only done on a couple of their models, and they end up charging about the same price that this brand Sitivien does. So, if you are definitely looking for something like that, these guys do a pretty darn good job as well. That being said, it's nowhere near my absolute favorite access lock, that knife that I've ever had. I really do miss my Benchmade 921 switchback. That thing was absolutely neat. I ended up giving it to an ex a long time ago because she needed a knife to protect herself, and I carried quite a few of them on there, so I pulled all of them out of my pockets and went, choose one, and that was the one she chose. So, it's gone forever, but it was a neat knife. It had S30V, Warncliffe blade shape on there, and then a little 440C Swiss Army style non-locking knife on the back of it. It was pretty cool. I miss it, and looking at their availability and whatnot on eBay means that I will continue to miss it for the rest of my life, because there ain't no way I'm paying $300-400 for one of those things. Yeah, this thing has black micarta, which is interesting. You don't see a whole lot of companies trying to do that out of the box there. I do have a little bit of some rolled edges going on this guy here. This one was kind of a pain in the butt to sharpen, but then I did a whole bunch of cutting with it and whatnot, and probably some irresponsible stuff around the back side of it, and didn't particularly feel at the time like I wanted to fix it up. I can probably do that fairly easily, but hey, there's that. This thing is built exactly like a Benchmade access lock. Same crossbar sort of thing, same Omega springs. So if you've ever dealt with one of those, and I've definitely had a video talking about my Benchmade 940 and all of that. It is absolutely identical to that. They didn't really make any changes to that lock style like so many others have, like SOG and, Cold Steel when they did it a long time ago and whatnot. So, at least it is fairly easy to deal with as long as you're actually genuinely used to disassembling an access lock, which, in general, I wouldn't suggest because it is a giant pain in the ass to try to get things back together. Taking it apart's fine. It's just putting it back together that's a lot more difficult. But otherwise, it's a pretty decent knife overall. We got some nice barrel spacers there. The blade's nowhere near it. I can't really access that blade there when it's closed. It's nice and away from fingers and all that sort of stuff. Decently thick blade stop pin there, and you can flick that open and closed with your thumb, maybe with your index finger. I don't know. I can certainly do that with my Benchmade 940, but I've never replaced the springs on this, and it's 20 years old, so this thing probably has much newer and more taut springs and whatnot, so that makes it a little bit more difficult to do, but still possible. I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it. It's a really middle of the road kind of knife. If you are looking for an access sort of lock of a kind of large size, as I was saying, I'll look including that finger choil there, and we're at 3.5 inches. So probably it's 3 1/3 to 3 1/4. 3 1/4 inch. Sharpened blade length and all that sort of stuff. Kind of designed to be a little bit more stout of a blade than an absolute laser beam. But, it works, and it's fairly cheap. I want to say it was under $30. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't remember. I bought it probably about 4 months ago, and been trying to come up with a whole lot of stuff to actually talk about with it, and I think this is about as good as it's gonna get. So, alright, this is Sitivien ST100. Yeah, sorry, dead air. I just, there's nothing else I can really say about it. It's a knife. It doesn't really have a whole lot that's setting it apart, but it did kind of look interesting to me, and hey, it is actually nice to have some access locks in D2 rather than 440C. So, alright, well, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and as always, have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.